Welcome, everyone. It is March 24th, uh, and we are excited to be continuing this custom campaign, this interesting plot line that these players have um, caused me to create through all of their shenanigans and character arcs and tags and stories. So we shall see where this goes. Today, we are picking up where we left off last week with our heroes um, trudging, perhaps with some trepidation, toward the Old Glade. And Maya has just taken a look at the stone fragment and touched it and moved it around and looked at it and so forth and handed it back to Jared before they head into the glade. So our characters are Marshal Jared, who is sort of like the de facto leader, though each can lead in their own ways. But for this part of the story arc, it's kind of revolved around him and his land or near his land as a landed baron or noble. This is where he's at. So these other player characters have joined to assist him in some of his troubles exploring the area. There's the already known um, problem of this miasma that seems to be infecting things in some fashion. Marshal Jared, in his recent past, has battled a miasma infected zombie of sorts. And then another worm that has turned into this poisoned worm because of the miasma, and a formidable underwater opponent that he had to fight. And so then they went in and found more about the miasma, and they stopped it from flowing further in one part of the Dales. And now they currently reside in a different part of the Dales where they um, are now looking at other strange things that are happening in this area that seems to have come alive. This whole story arc began with a hunter named Corbin who came back from the Old Glade uh, very gravely wounded and dying, talking about how the forest has awakened or something in the forest has awakened. And so he has since moved on to other places that where living people don't go. And along with that, deepened the mystery. Our heroes went into the Old Glade and encountered something that called itself an Oath Keeper, and it seemed to be quite large and breathed fire and broke uh, branches and even tree trunks and send them flying over their heads or something. And so various different things happened there. These guys talked to it, and finally it demanded tribute. It wanted treasure. They eventually backed out, realizing they might be in over their head this time, but now they have new motivations for returning to the glade. So, Marshal Jared, why don't you tell us a little bit about what motivations you have added to your list that make you want to come back here?
I need to keep the town folks safe. They're being killed. We're up to 2 murders now, and
Oh,
I
right.
have to take action.
Right.
That's
There was some
motivation enough for me.
traveler. Yes, there was a traveler that was coming to town, and these perhaps minions, or maybe it is one form of the Oath Keeper or something, came out of a fog that kind of appeared out of nowhere, and they stepped out of the fog and they attacked the guy and killed him and knocked over his wagon and all that stuff, and then disappeared back into the fog. And so, with blood on the ground and a wrecked wagon, you have another reason to go back. Now they're whatever this is attacking innocent people on the road. Very good. All right. Anything you want to say before, as you're approaching the glade, going into the glade, you guys want to talk about anything in particular?
I look at the rest of the group and I go, we have to be smart about how we do this. We cannot just engage them. So we have to be tactical. I would prefer to keep our distance and do ranged if it comes down to it, but let's see how this goes. Our main goal would probably be to find where this piece of obsidian came from and put it back. Maybe that could theoretically put the thing back to sleep. I mean, it's a long shot, but we should rule it out first. What do you think, Maya?
Yeah, didn't the Viscount send something about the monolith being connected to the Oath Keepers? Maybe that's yeah, maybe the stone is what it's looking for. That's the tribute, or I don't know, but yeah, I agree that should be our first stop.
I agree. I mean, but the tribute it's killing people, so it's taking that as daily tributes, I guess. I have no idea. It's an alien creature. We're trying to guess what it wants. Maybe it doesn't want to go to sleep. I mean, we just don't know enough. And even the experts don't know enough, so we're going in some uncharted waters. Just do our best. Look out for each other. Hopefully we'll make it out.
We just have to take one step at a time.
Concur.
Now, before we go in, I want to address that we do have, for our audience that cares, we do have a website as well on World Anvil, and the website has a homepage. I'm just trying to bring it up here. The campaign homepage is for Legend in the Mist. It is www.worldanvil.com/epic/twilight in the dales. I'll try to put that in the notes below, the doobly doo. And you can then look at things like character journals, session reports, and past recordings there as well. Kind of look in at the characters, their kind of bios and that sort of thing, plus their journal entries. So, um, Jared wrote like on autofire, wrote several journals, and the promise was if you write in your journal between sessions, I will grant you a growth or whatever it's called, an experience or attention. They haven't settled on exactly what they're going to call these. They seem to change the names here and there while they try them out and try to settle on them. But um, I don't think I'm going to give you a point of growth for each of those journals. I
Oh,
love seeing
no,
this.
no. I
I
wouldn't
haven't read them yet,
expect that.
but so go ahead. I will give you a growth for writing between sessions. I haven't had any time. I just found out it right before the game that he had done this. I haven't had a chance to read them. I'm sure they're great. His other
Sneak
journals he's
attack.
written in the past are good. I like them, and they are great for character development. So I'll ask you, audience, to head over to that URL and check out his journals. You'll click on his character, and from there you can read his journals. So it's pretty cool, I think. We're using this as a campaign tool for world building and character development. So with that said, let's get back to where we were. As you approach the glade, um, of course, it is very clear that this is an eerie glade. So I've added a scene tag called Eerie Glade. The ground is choked with roots all over the place, making it somewhat treacherous to stumble about in the near dark that is in there because of the sun blocking canopy. And as you begin to walk in, and leave the sun behind, you also are disturbed to find that there are vanishing trail markers. So you have basically like you look back and it's like where how did we get here? Those like there's bushes in the way. It's almost like the glade itself is
So those
closing in on
scratches
you.
that I put on the trees are disappearing too, right?
Maybe, but there's also like it's almost like the foliage is closing in behind you, leaving no trail, no way back out. Doesn't mean you couldn't make your way back out, but it seems like as you move just 20, 25 feet, you look back and the bushes aren't exactly where they used to be, and so it doesn't look like you went around this bush and under that tree branch, and things look different now. So we'll put that vanishing trail markers um, right in there too. Also, as would be expected, there is an eerie sense of being watched. So I just hit a light over there. Apologize. So with that in mind, you are begin hearing sounds. You know, the odd sounds, the branch cracking, um, the floor, the ground rumbling a little bit, maybe as something took a step, or maybe the like hit a like Sasquatch like stuff almost like there's a cracking against a tree trunk. So like maybe someone took a log and hit it against a tree trunk, or but it's hard to find where it is because of the way this forest is very chaotic. Um, and some sounds that seem to come from over here also then seem to come from over here. And so you have a general uneasiness on top of all that because of this. So you are feeling watched. You're feeling like the forest is swallowing you up.
I step back to Maya and discreetly, just barely audible, say, I really didn't have a conversation with you about what you can do with magic. But is there anything you can do to kind of pinpoint where the rest of this monolith is out here in these woods? Do you have that ability? Because it would be nice to know where we're going as opposed to just walking blindly.
Maya, it seems surprised for a moment. She didn't realize how obvious she'd been with the stone. Um, so she thinks for a moment. I don't really know. I'm not totally sure what I can do myself, but I can try.
Anything
Um,
would help. Otherwise, my best guess is to get to the center of the woods, but what is the center when you don't know what north, south, east, or west is?
let me see that stone again.
I discreetly hand the pouch over to her.
So I think Maya is going to try to, um, when she's trying to sort of do things, she sort of just tries to reach out, sort of like willfully, and express her mind, her ideas through the mark. And I think she's going to try to do that right now. See if she can maybe get the stone to sort of um, find its way, or sort of like act a bit like a compass needle to direct them towards the monolith.
As
Um,
you think this stone fragment is from that monolith, huh?
that's yeah, that's what the working assumption that I slash Maya have been working under.
Mhm.
Let's find out, or let's try to find out.
Okay, let's try it. What tags do you think will support that?
I kind of I'm I feel I can make a case for all of the trait tags because I think she's using the mark the Witchwood. Um, she's trying to draw on old magic because we know that there's something supernatural and connected. We presumably connected to the forest and the stone, and she is trying to sort of um, connect to non-physical pathways.
Can I try to help her?
How would you
Maybe
do that?
using my muster courage, so try to bolster her so that she's more confident.
You just got done
And
scolding her.
well, that was for something she did that was wrong. But this is something she could do that could be right. And I do have sentimentality, so it would kind of show her that I'm not really angry at her, just that incident, and we can move on. I got faith in you. You can do this.
Okay, we'll try that and see
Get
how
her
it goes.
done.
So you'll need to create a tag for her if you're looking to create a tag. Maya, hold on a sec. Let's see if we can create a tag. No, you're fine. You can keep that there. Right? And you've got scolded in there already. Perfect.
Let's see. Yeah, I will throw sentimentality in there, and uh, remind her that she's got this, and she's
Hmm.
protecting the town and just trying to bolster her up. So I'm going to throw defend the weak in there too, and that's it. This is
Okay.
going to be a tracked outcome
Yep.
and
Uh-oh,
execute.
I hit quick. Sorry, let me back out then.
Okay. So when you're trying to create tags or do other things, that would be attract. If it's just to see if you succeed or fail,
All right,
then
gonna roll. Waiting
yeah.
for
All right,
imps.
I'm looking. No,
Okay, sorry.
I'm hanging out. Not I'm like not sure that muster the courage and defend the weak aren't like opposites.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to bolster her courage, but then I'm also trying to make it sound like she is doing this to defend the town and stop murders, and she's got this, and she can do this.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Nice. Okay, so with a 9, um, you get 1 power, so you can create 1 tag. You can use an optional rule if you want to. I think, let's see. No, that's only if you roll a 10 or higher. You can choose to take a consequence for more power, right? But in this case, you're going to have a consequence, and I'm going to think about what that is. I think I may. Um, all right. So, what you're trying to do is create a tag for Maya to be able to use for this effort. So, go ahead and do that
Okay.
while I think about what I'm going to do to you.
All right. So in creating this tag for her, is this something she would just add on to her sheet, or I'm adding it
Yeah.
to mine again? Okay. So I would say that the tag that I would create for her would be um, confidence in execution, so that whatever she's going to try, she'll get that tag.
What tag is it? In other words, how are you? So you could choose, for example, um, a tag like encouraged or inspired, right? And that can be just a tag,
Oh,
but you could also, like, if you had more power, you could create a status and have it at a
right.
tier. Um, so actually, no, you can give her a status. You can't give her a tag. I have it backwards again. Sorry. Um, so a tag costs 2 power to create, and a status is 1 power per tier. So you could give her inspired 1, for example, as a status, or, something like that, right? Bolstered 1 or
Yeah,
something.
bolstered 1.
Okay,
I was going to say confidence 1, but
you can do that too. That's fine.
confidence
Yep,
1.
confidence 1. All right, so you'll want to add that, and then Maya, you can add confidence 1 from there. Maybe I just add it for you. Let's see. There you go. But then you right click on it and it will turn it yellow. Did it work for you?
I'm not sure. It doesn't look like I can get it, make it yellow.
All right.
Oh crap. Okay, I'm gonna back out here.
Okay. And so explain to me in narrative fashion what Maya is doing that this role is trying to accomplish.
She's trying to take the sort of innate energy of her mark, link it up to whatever constitutes the magic in the stone, and sort of like use it almost as like a pathfinding tool, because she's assuming that the stone is still linked to the monolith that she is assuming that it came from. And so because part of one of the abilities that she's tentatively capable of interacting with is pathways to nowhere, so sort of non-physical paths that are I'm just going to look at real quick on the notes that I have here on that. Yeah, like secret paths that are something quite similar, I think, to the Vanishing Trail markers. It seems to tie pretty closely to that. So she's trying to sort of weave her way through that mentally, spiritually, assuming that the stone can sort of like hone in on where it comes from.
I thought I put something in your backpack. Oh, yeah. So we should also add. Oh, some tags. You have this old stone fragment as well, which is in Jared's backpack and now in
Did I?
your hands.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. Then let's go ahead and we'll just approve all those and let's roll and see what the dice bring us. Okay, so power of 10. That's a full success. As far as Jared's consequence, I think Jared is. Let's kind of deal with that now. Now that we've seen what he brought it about, what brought it about, I think we should. Um, I'm going to add a tag to Jared, a status of haunted, because some of your bolstering is just brought back the past. You're trying to encourage her to use this magic, but you've um,
I've witnessed things. I've seen a thing or two. It's
yeah.
horrible.
So I think haunted makes sense for that. So you can feel a little
Uneasy. Yeah.
yeah, to add more to that unease. So just you've brought it all to mind. It's like telling ghost stories around the campfire and now you don't want to go to sleep. That kind of thing. So you've tried to bolster her, talk to her about, her magic, da da da, and bring it out, and she should be able to do well, etc. And now that just brought it all back. All right. So Maya, you have succeeded with a power of 3. So I can give you um, one detail if you would like per power, or I think that you should be able to spend your power on a status. If you would like to put guided as a status, you can put one tier of status for each power you spend. How would you like to spend your power?
Um, whoops, I keep opening this up and then. Yeah, I think I like that. I would like guided 3 because I'm anticipating doing some tracking and it's going to be tough. So yeah, guided 3 sounds good.
Something like that. Guided 3.
And typically whenever she uses her mark, it starts to brighten and shine and it becomes very, very obvious. Um, so Jared and the silent others can all see it just sort of like brimming up and like cutting a little bit through the shadows from the canopy, um, and possibly even sort of like the light entwining around the stone. And I don't know if she sees anything in terms of being guided, or if it's just sort of an inclination, sort of like a sense.
What does your mark look like?
It's so it's kind of like it all the mark looks like sort of natural growths. So like it started pretty small, um, like right on her collarbone, and has continued to grow mostly like down along her right arm. So it looks a lot like intertwining branches, with the occasional sort of um, bloom, I guess I want to say. So sort of like a so it's sort of like a growing, winding plant, just sort of like with the occasional offshoot.
Okay. It's like a viney tree of some sort, or with
Yeah.
different kinds of, but like you said, so it's got this very plant-like um, sense to it. But is is it like a birthmark where it's just like a different color on the skin, or does it have any other interesting attributes?
For the most, except when using it, it does. I mean, it's a very large birthmark. So if you were to see the whole thing and kind of like focus in on the shape, you'd be like, this doesn't really look. This looks like almost like a very faded tattoo. But until she's using it, it wouldn't stand out and be prominent physically.
How big is it?
Um, Pretty big. I mean, it's basically been growing, the more that she's been trying to use it, and sort of like I think not to assume anything about the larger plot here, but I think probably in terms of magical things across the DLs becoming a bit more agitated. It's probably I could very feasibly see it connected to that, but also as she's like tried to understand it and use it a lot more than her past relatives ever did. Um, so it's basically growing down her back and along her right arm, all the way down to the palm of her hand. So it's pretty big.
Okay, cool. All right, so kind of all the shoulder down the arm to the palm of her hand. Okay,
Hmm.
wrapping around. I got it. Okay. So, and what does it look like when it activates? Does it shine with any particular color, or like is it golden, or
It's like
anything else
a it,
happen?
it's all very very foresty. It's forest green. It's like very everything about it is supposed to be sort of like, oh, this looks like a sort of supernatural reflection of natural growing life.
Okay. All right. So I can imagine as you use it to do things that there may be little specks of green light that kind of maybe emanate from it in a way. Just little tiny, tiny, tiny sparks, like miniature fireflies or something that may kind of just sort of emanate from, like especially your hand or wherever it may come out. So as you're holding the stone, maybe it kind of flows, and it sort of represents this um, aura, if you will, of little tiny lights, speckles, just tiny speckles, just like glitter, um, as it activates and begins to kind of this green glow. Does that sound about right to you? Like it might have this kind of effect?
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
Okay,
Exactly how I was thinking of
excellent. I'm a mind reader, so that's.
it.
I just rolled a 12. So, all right. So, you hold the stone and it begins to glow, and these little specks of light come out and kind of rotate around your hand and around the stone. And some of those little glittery specks go kind of return back to your mark as if it was making some kind of a connection. And you do get a sense of, of almost like not turn by turn GPS, but you definitely get a sense of a direction where maybe the stone belongs for sure.
Okay.
So you should be able to use that to track through. You may have done this in the past, especially with your hinterland tracker reputation. Cheated a little and used the mark to track an untrackable, bounty, right? You had to find food. It was impossible to find food where you're at, and you used your magic a little bit to when you saw a track on the ground, and then you knew just exactly where that creature was, and you hunted it and brought it back, etc. Maybe you've done something like that in the past.
Yeah, she likes to use the mark to sort of find a pathway when none of her other senses work well for it.
There you go. All right. Um, Suddenly, nothing happens. It's just silent. The trees have, as you've walked in here now, seem to shift as you step beneath their ancient boughs, not with the sway of the wind, but with the slow, deliberate stillness of something that has been waiting. The forest canopy swallows the light, casting the ground into a dappled twilight, where every shadow feels too long and every branch too still. The air grows dense, thick with the scent of loam and moss and decaying wood, and the hum of insects fades to silence. Up ahead, something creaks softly, not wood, not wind, perhaps rope, perhaps bone. The trail behind you seems to narrow and vanish, close, like the forest has decided you've gone far enough to be alone. Somewhere nearby, a crow calls out, then never again. While Maya seems to be tuning in, I'm sure your attention is wrapped on the little cool nature sparkles that are going on around her arm, Jared. Is there anyone else you wanted to talk to in your group?
Yeah, I do want to speak to Chewbacca and tell him to be on the ready, but
Where is he?
not to where is anybody? He's like just to the side of us.
No, he was just there.
Well, he was. I'm looking around there, and now he's not. And I take it Ashern is also not there.
Yeah, they were behind you. They were just behind you, and you were doing your thing, doing the little magic twinkly thing, watching that go on, and now you've turned back to say, "Be on the lookout," and he's not there. There's just the silent, gnarled forest behind you.
But it is still the same forest. In other words, we're still in the same location we were before, right?
Yeah,
Hasn't changed.
you don't feel like
Okay.
you've moved anywhere. No.
Okay. I know that I see Maya concentrating, so I'm not going to say anything, but you do see my eyes kind of betray a little bit of concern as to where my comrades are at. I have my hand on my sword, ready to be drawn if there's any sort of shenanigans, but for right now, we're just going to see where Maya leads us.
Okay. I think Maya is going to continuing to focus on her mark and on the stone and just sort of say, everybody stay close because she hasn't noticed that it's just the two of them, and she's gonna just try to head forward, following the direction. I don't know if I will need to do more specific tracking roll, but she's at the moment just trying to follow that sense and see how
Okay.
easy it is to travel
Yeah.
and further into the forest.
There was a subtle pulling in a direction. So you do that, and suddenly there is the twang, and bolts come flying towards you, both of you.
Can we dive out of the way?
Sure.
If we're
Incoming bolt. I'm going to pin you to a tree unless you can
gonna
mitigate
try to
that.
dive out of
So you're going to make a mitigation roll to dive out of the way or block it with a shield or Maya, whatever you think you can do to try to mitigate being pinned to a tree.
And these are two different occurrences, not one straight at us, correct?
Yeah, there's two different bolts firing coming at you, maybe from slightly different directions, aiming at kind of pinning you to a tree. Maybe one of those big, large oaks that you know, take 5 men to reach around.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna take these.
All right, Maya's going to use her longbow. Are you trying to block incoming bolts with your longbow?
I am trying to, and I'm trying to. I forgot how I did this last time. I'm trying to burn the trick shots tag. She's going to try to quickly draw and fire at the bolt to deflect it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so I think to burn, you would do like a control. I think it's control click or shift click. Maybe it's shift click. Did that work?
Because the icon next to it I know is just to burn it. Like,
Just offhand. But I think
yeah,
um do do power tag thought it was trick shot. Shift click. No, thought that's what it was.
I got trick shot added to mine. Is that supposed to be a negative?
That's because I'm clicking around. Sorry, my
Oh,
bad.
okay. I was like,
I'll,
okay,
I will fix that. Let's
not a problem.
get rid of it. Okay. All right. So you're using a battered shield. Wasn't born yesterday. Forged in war. That sounds great. Um, I am going to use haunted against you because these things coming out of nowhere are pretty scary. I would say you're already on edge, so that will put you at a disadvantage. Did you figure out how to burn it?
no, I'm trying to.
Okay. I honestly don't remember, but I thought it had something to do with a key a key combination. Okay. All right. So Marshall, I'm going to go ahead and approve all of these, and I think you're good. So confirm. Why'd you start over?
I closed it by accident.
Okay. Well, that explains it. So we've got haunted, forged in war. I thought there was another one. Is that everything? Oh, there was, and we crossed it out. It's because I was clicking around. Got it.
Yes.
I just recall seeing more in the list, and I remember now. All right. Oh, okay. So that's a 9. So you are going to lower it by, I think it's by 1, which is good. So you will not be pinned, but it pierces some of the cloth on your armor and sticks into the thing behind you. All right. Well, we'll just go ahead and try. Maya, we're just going to confirm
Is
those
there
two for you.
is there like there's I have oh here it is. That's what it was. After you approve it, then I can
Then it gives you a choice, a drop
yeah.
down to burn something. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So you do a trick shot and you actually split the incoming bolt in half with your arrow that you fire out.
Nice.
And so it goes on either side of you, and you are unscathed. So with 5 power and a 13, no consequence, basically. So um, nothing going there. And now what do you do? The forest suddenly goes back to silence. And then over to your right, you begin to hear whispering. And then echoing over this way, perhaps even the same whispers.
Are you okay, Maya? I look over.
I'm fine. Are you okay?
Uh, got a graze. I've had worse, but we need to keep moving and not make a steady target for them.
All right. Hmm. Can I try to track the voices, the whispers, and sort of like can I start like to sort of like try to stalk them through the underbrush? Like just not just sort of like stomp through and make it a lot of noise and kind of obvious, but like move towards them, but with sort of more woodcraft and stealth.
Yeah, like hiding behind trunks and branches, and maybe even going up into a tree and crossing trees that way from branch to branch, trying to figure out where that bolt came from.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. It sounds like this is going to be more like a discover roll, which is a tracked outcome. So I guess Jared Maya looks at you and kind of says, I'll be back. And just kind of ducks down and rolls into the foliage, and then you don't see her anymore. You can occasionally hear something that sounds like maybe she moved. There's some light brushing sound or something like that. But then you hear something else on the right, like a bone cracking, and then heavy breathing, just like a, coming from somewhere ahead.
This time I do slide out my sword, but I have it palmed down. So it's not drawn up, but my shield is now up and my sword is down, palm, blade facing downward, and I'm on attention, trying to see if I hear anything else.
Okay, Maya, let's see your roll. All right, hinterland tracker, keen senses, dealing with supernatural beings,
I'm assuming.
hunt prey, and pathway to nowhere. Mm, gonna drop that one too.
Okay.
And I think the rest are okay. So let's go ahead and confirm that. Ooh, all right. So, I think at some point you're going to turn your ankle, but what you do find is very interesting. As you drop down from above, like at some point you scaled the tree because the tree is like growing at an angle, and you ran up the tree and over a very thick branch, and then tried to drop down where you are really quite sure someone was. Maybe that's where the bolt came from. And you drop down, and as you land, the roots and such. Oh yeah, I should have put some tags against you from the scene that I didn't do. But the roots then um, make an uneasy landing, and you kind of roll your ankle a little bit. So I'm going to give you rolled ankle one. And this is going to just be a negative physical status when you try to do something cool physical. And status one. I think you'll be able to walk it off soon, so I can just put it out there for you. Now, what you find is you drop down and you're ready for a fight. You got your bow out, you got an arrow knocked, you're good to go. And instead, what you find is the signs of someone who's been here a while. Like there's a lot of smashed leaves into the soil. It's not just fallen leaves. So you can't make out necessarily tracks because maybe the area has been walked and walked and walked. And you find some other things instead. I'm going to pull up something of what you found. Really? All right, hold on. My notes are not as organized as I thought they were.
That's always the way.
Yeah. No, I had a couple of like handout like things, right, that you'd find. And I'm looking for it, but maybe I need to go down further in my notes because I just put them all in one place, basically. All right, let's see. So it's basically a scrap of folded paper. And in the scrap of folded paper, there are some scrawling words written in them, just kind of really bad handwriting. And one of them says, one of the scrawled notes says, roll, ROLE, like roll. Whispering shade, tunnel left. Tone, eerie, detached, not too threatening. Let them doubt themselves. Lines to use. It's not your name. The maw remembers. Turn back or forget your face in the dark. She waits beneath, still hungry, still hollow. Movement. Creep to the edge of shadow just within torchlight. No direct interaction. Flee if confronted. And in the corner, there's kind of this smudged doodle that looks like a crescent moon wearing a mask.
Maya literally scratches her head. She is not sure what to make of this, but there is clearly no one still there.
No.
Okay. Hmm. I think she's gonna slip back to Jared then, bring this note with her, and see if he can make heads or tails of it, because she's lost.
While you're doing that, Jared, what are you doing? You're down 2 people in your little cadre, and
I
the third one just vanished into the underbrush. What are you doing?
I am looking around, and you do see a bead of sweat start to come down my face because I'm feeling very uncomfortable with this scenario. But I'm staying the course and hoping that I hear some things of Maya coming back. But I'm fully anticipating another assault, so I'm hearing that noise, right?
Which noise?
The bellowing of the creature, whatever it is.
No, there wasn't any bellowing at this point. There were some sounds, and there's still these echoing whispers here and there, um, coming from a variety of different directions. Um,
Okay.
and and you hear in your mind the voice of Martha. Now, Jared, breathe in and out. Slow it down. Breathe in. Count to 4. Not that
Yep.
fast.
And I
And
start
breathe
my
out.
breathing meditative exercises as I hold my blade and kind of close my eyes and attune myself to my inner peace, not necessarily the disturbing sounds around me.
Right. Okay. Then while you're waiting there, you do hear now a very, very low growl. And this is not normal large animal like a bear or a mountain lion, not a growl like that. It's deeper. It's echoing from somewhere ahead and kind of to the right.
Is this ahead and to the right? That's not where Maya went, correct?
No, no, she would have stayed gone to the left.
Okay. So I turn around and I look to see if I see something.
There's nothing beyond, but beyond. I'm assuming you have lit a torch, but maybe not. Maybe you're just letting your eyes adjust to the darkness.
How dark is it
Um,
in there?
it's dark. A torch would help you,
Yep.
but
So then I'd light a torch.
okay. All right. So while you're checking your breathing, you're lighting a torch, and that's when the growl begins. You lift your torch up, and all you see is dancing shadows, um, moving, strangely just beyond your light's reach. The growling stops, and then all of a sudden, behind you, Maya appears and taps you on the shoulder.
I spin around quickly and see that it's her. What did you find? Did you find anything?
There, there it looks like no one. I headed towards where the bolts came from, but it looked like there hadn't been anyone there in a while. The ground was beaten down, but not recently. And then I found this, and I don't know what to make of it. And she hands him the note.
Just heads up, you are coming across very low. I don't know if it's the ambience is drowning you out or if your speaker is low, but I don't know
Uh,
how loud you
am,
think you're coming across.
am I a little better now?
A little better. Yes.
Hmm.
You can use
But I think
Discord to raise his volume too.
yeah. Okay. Get in there.
Okay.
In the chat of the VTT, I've pasted the contents of this note.
Okay. That's in the in-session chat?
Yes. No, in the VTT.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. That that sounds like someone's trying to think of a way to drive things away from what it looks like. How old is the note? Does it look like it's ancient parchment? Is it like
No.
recent? Is it
No, it looks like for you what modern paper might look like. And these notes are written in there with ink. So,
that bolt that hit my armor and has not been properly removed? If I remove it, what is the tip look like? What does the tip look like? Does it look like a
yeah, typical steel tip bolt.
with nothing of superior quality? It's just a standard bolt.
Yeah.
Fletched
for sure.
standard. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Maya, we have somebody here in the forest with us, apparently, from the bolts. Maybe one or two, but and it could be a trap too. I have no idea. Do these notes mean anything to you? Because I'm just seeing here someone trying to think of a plan, but what's their end game? They've killed people in town, so to drive us out, yes, that would be. I even go and kill people if it's the same entity. Could be a different thing.
Fog begins to kind of roll forth from different directions. It's kind of just beginning to fill the area, covering the last 3 inches to the ground, so hiding maybe several tangling vines and roots as it rolls out.
We need to keep moving, Maya.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe we won't. Whoever this is, maybe we just keep moving towards wherever we can. The stone can lead us, and put aside any distractions, and they'll soon learn that we won't be dissuaded.
Let us see what happens. Let us see what comes about this. But be
I'm
careful with your footsteps. It's now becoming very difficult to see where you're actually going, and I'm gonna kind of use my sword as a walking stick to kind of feel down and see where any bramble or any branch or trunk might be that wasn't there before.
right. Okay, so I've added another tag, low fog, to our scene. From ahead of you, somewhere in the dark, somewhere beyond what your torch will light up, or the fog that's there, there is a groaning, pained, low sound. And as you kind of lean forward to try to figure out what it is, you see a perhaps it's that stag that you saw the first time you came to the glade. There is a skull head with horns and a mangled, misshapen body walking upright on just two legs, but not walking normal. Um, it is making a weird sound that sounds like pain, and it stops for just a second to turn to look at you the way deer do, right? And you just hear this low sound that says, like a whisper, just beyond a whisper, and quaking with all of the pain and a groan kind of worked in. No path leads out. No path leads back. And then it kind of limps and lurches across the rest, kind of out of sight, vanishing into the darkness and the fog.
Well,
What do you do?
that's new layers of nightmares I'll be having. Don't know about you, Maya, but we should keep moving before this horror story gets worse.
I don't know about you, but I'm a little tired of being dissuaded. So I'm gonna try to track some more. Just following straight along the path that the stone has sort of put them on, or put her on, at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This will take you to, past where you guys just saw this thing at the edge of the light, kind of moving awkwardly, unnaturally, and kind of across the direction you're headed. So you will see tracks down there. These tracks are not deer tracks. Um, they're odd because they look like maybe two deer tracks very close together, and they're heavily into the mushy earth here, broken by the roots that are overgrowing all over the place and such. But this is not normal. Like deer hooves don't go this close together, and there seems to be this repeating pattern.
Yeah. Might not be as good a tracker as Maya, but I know a deer tracks when I see one, and that ain't normal. Bloody hell.
Perhaps this creature is more deformed than you might suspect,
Lead on, Maya.
or there's something else going on. Make do you want to do anything with those tracks, or just keep going toward where this stone is guiding you?
Where the
Um,
stone is.
yeah, Maya is beginning to assume that a lot of this is just trying to trick them and mess with them, and she's trying to like make a beeline, so to speak. I'm sure it's not a straight line, but she's trying to like try to block out these distractions.
Okay. All right. So you're picking your way forward carefully, trying not to trip. You'll get caught occasionally, kind of catching yourself because you've tripped on a root system that you can't see through the fog, and you continue forward. But then there is that low voice. I am the Oath Keeper.
Coming directly like down the path we're
Yeah,
going.
toward where you're going, a little off the left. It's kind of echoey, weird, because the sound doesn't travel very well here, but very deep and it's hollow sounding.
Perfect. Let's head right for it.
Okay. Um, all right, so you head right for it. You start picking your path toward it. I demand tribute, or you shall perish. Still
Jared,
picking
is
your
this...
way?
Yeah.
Are you doing it in any particular fashion?
Uh, just trying to sort of match her tracking ability with the tether that I'm still assuming she has through guided, like just like half keeping her senses extended in half, just sort of like letting it that sense pull, that inclination pull her forward.
Is that a question for me? I missed it if it was.
No, I was just
Okay.
thinking like she's just trying to do like her normal tracking, but like using the magical sense from the stone to sort of like give her hints and like pull her. Maybe we wind this way around this tree and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, so you're kind of working this way, but this voice is not exactly on target for where you feel like you should continue, right?
Okay.
Just a little off, but a little off here means a lot off down the path. So,
Right. We're going to
uh,
try to use the natural treason for a little bit of cover. If we can move from spot to spot, depending
okay,
on the density, if it avails itself to using cover, we'll use it.
sure. Okay, so up above and a distance away, suddenly there's this sound of flames, and it just comes out. You can see it's like coming out of these almost like nostrils, these two openings, and just flame just shoots out um, from above and towards you.
Uh-oh.
Is it going to hit us, or is there something between us
No,
that we've
it's
used for cover?
it's
Or
above. It's above. It's just
Okay.
it's above. Is it in the same
yeah,
pattern or same burst duration as what we saw before?
yeah. It's very very similar, and it does do the whole kind of sweeping left and right, lasts for 2 or 3 seconds, and then it goes out.
We continue, Maya.
Be warned. Have you brought treasure? Do you respond, or do you just keep picking your way silently, trunk to trunk, crouching down a little bit behind some bushes here and moving forward
Yeah.
there? What?
I'm
Yeah,
just
we're
gonna...
gonna keep pressing on until we're until we're unable to press on.
Maya was gonna quit, but we're not trying to give our position away.
Okay, you were going to quip.
Yes. She was gonna say her parents used to call her a treasure.
Gotcha. Okay, I like that. The You reach another tree trunk, and Maya, as you peer around the side, you notice that there's like um, something wrong with the bark on that tree. It's a little askew and kind of like a little square pattern. It's not exactly fitting right. The bark itself doesn't line up correctly. It looks like this piece of bark was removed and put back again.
Am I able to pull or slide it off if I try now?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely gaps where you feel like you could easily put a finger.
All right, she's gonna try to wrap her fingers as many as she
Jer-
can, squeeze and just sort of like
yeah.
wrench it off.
Jared, you didn't notice before, but as she starts to work her fingers right between the cracks, it easily just pops off. It's like it's just um, a part of the tree that got chipped away and then put back again. And inside this tree trunk, there's kind of this hollowed out cavity, like someone took a tool and chunked away at it and made a little holding area.
Oh, do you see anything in there, Maya? I'm covering her back so that, in case any kind of assault comes that way, I'll run interference as she focuses.
Do I see anything in there?
Yes, absolutely. There are a couple of sheets of paper that have been kind of crumpled up a little bit um, and stuff in there.
More notes?
Indeed, on the paper, as you look at it, using the light from Jared's torch, um, you see written in bold ink with very dramatic flourishes, um, the Hallow Maw experience, TM. Act 1, the arrival of outsiders. And then a line beneath says, deploy ambient fog, mix with marsh herbs for extra stink. Echo loops, whispers, howls. Don't forget to reset crystal frequencies every 2 hours. The next line, bone props to be scattered near the pit, no actual digging required. And then it says, Act 2, the tension builds. Lights behind branches flash intermittently when party investigates deeper. And then another line says, Gouts of flame always good. And then another next line, embrace improvisation, stay in character, speak only in cryptic warnings. And then Act 3, the reveal, optional. If they run, success. If not, proceed to fall back. And then remember, no contact. It's all about suggestion. And then in the margin on this one, it says, reminder to fire Rico. His death scream last time was too much.
All right. Maya's going to take these papers and step around. So, because I know Jared's kind of keeping an eye, so she's going to step up next to him and, like, offer him them and say, Marshall, is it possible we're being pranked?
We witnessed a person die, Corbin, and someone else got grabbed, peddler, from a cart. We saw the blood. If this is a staged production, do we have two dead people?
Who would be staging this?
I don't understand. But we need to get this piece of stone back to where it belongs and find out what's happening.
All right. Back on the trail. Gonna go back to tracking.
Okay. Maya, you begin to feel nauseous. Little woozy.
She's gonna take some deep, slow breaths. At this point, she's trying very hard not to be not to be waved off. Now, especially given that maybe it's all fake.
Do we smell anything weird or
the fog thicken, or
Yeah, no, there's definitely some stinky, boggy kind of smell.
that wasn't there before?
I think it was there, but you probably noticed it maybe a little more now.
I grab a handkerchief and hold it to my mouth so I'm not necessarily breathing whatever this smell is.
There's a pain in your right arm. It's
Uh-oh.
subtle.
Time being, she's just gonna try to shake it off, stay focused.
Okay. You continue to pick your way through the forest slowly, being cautious, kind of picking your path as best as possible, winding, and winding around this tree, around that really thick thorny bush, over this way and that. And suddenly there are large gouts of flame, and standing on a broken tree trunk, you see um, the the big I'm trying to find the right words. It is a um, ominous presence. It is that tattered robed man that stands before you on top of this tree trunk. He wears a face. I thought I had a picture I was going to show you. Oh, maybe I do right here. Yes, I do. There you go.
Ooh.
And in that same deep voice, echoing through wherever his mouth might be, um, you hear, "Turn back now or die."
Two of my town folks are dead. There
And
would
we
be
have
an
two
accounting.
more, if you want, the two that have been taken from you this day. Lay treasure right down here.
Could we speak to
Okay.
management?
He suddenly looks over at you. His head kind of turns to the side a little bit to look at you directly, and it's just throws him off a little bit. And then you hear him kind of clear his throat. I am the Oath Keeper. I demand tribute. Have you
I turn around.
brought it?
I look at Maya, and we start getting into a discussion about. I'm not feeling the delivery. You?
Hmm. Sometimes less is more.
Oh yeah, but you really have to have a grasp of the moment.
And so I don't know. I feel like there's kind of mixed messages. You know, there's the tone. I'm not sure that the misshapen deer. It's sort of it goes with the flame. It's a little. The aesthetics are a little all over. I don't know.
Do you think it's falling flat?
There's this drumming now coming from wood banging against wood and bone coming from around. It begins to surround you and get a little bit closer.
I don't know, but then all of a sudden you're starting to kind of just overlay it with just nonsensical sounds. Are you buying any of this, Maya?
I don't know. I mean, ever since we found the stage directions, it's all a little, I don't know, a little inconsistent, a little patchy, maybe.
Yeah, they see us starting to kind of lean over the papers as we point to the papers to make sure that they can see the papers.
Okay. He looks down again, and from his vantage point on top of this stump, and he says, I see you have chosen death.
Is that anywhere on the paper?
No.
I look at him hold the paper up and I go, "You're not supposed to ad lib."
These guys start coming out from various places. And they have clubs and shields.
Clubs and shields. That now, why would mythical creatures want clubs and shields? I look at the crowd.
You look around, they're coming up on all sides, kind of surrounding you.
Well, we've come at an impasse. I commend you for your admirable performance, but it would be wise now to heed your audience and perhaps tone it down a notch. I can assure you this will not end well for everybody, present company included. So, I see here a bunch of pages with stage directions. I see before me figures that are holding clubs and shields. This is a very good production. I see that you put time and effort into it. I really would hate to see it go to waste. So, what do you say we put aside these shenanigans? Do I get any
So
reaction out of them?
you could certainly try. Why don't you make a roll and see if your speech
Yeah, I am.
can put a status on them or something.
All right. I've got what I got. So I'm going to try that and execute the move.
Holy crap! All right, most courage. I don't see you actually defending the weak here. I know you may talk about it, or it may be like a basis background, but that's not directly related to your speech here. I think Forged in War may be good. You may do intimidating stuff. I think Gruff can apply. I think an intimidating scowl might apply. Um,
I know they're trying to con me. So I wasn't born yesterday. I was born on a night, but I wasn't born last night. And if I have to, I'll prove it. But that can go bye-bye. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Um, and you haven't done anything to remove your haunted status, so I say you're still a little bit unsure, so that'll be a minus on you there. You've got I'm going to say you're being watched from all sides. There is a eerie glade. Can't see all your enemies. That would have an effect, maybe the sun blocking canopy, but I think we'll go with that. So let's go with those. Nice. Okay. So you will get a consequence, and I think it will do one power less. So we'll give you one power that you can succeed with here. So what is it you'd like to do? So a status of hesitant, something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Let's add
Or
that.
maybe make them cower.
I think if we get it to a higher level, we could change it to coward. Okay. All right. So we've got hesitance 1 as one of their statuses. Very good. Then they move into attack. Their shields up, clubs is swinging. Maya, you have the first reaction here because you're quick with the bow. What do you want to do to stop them from closing in and doing harm? There's several of them, right?
Yeah. So, Maya's gonna say, "Well, so much for bluffing them," and she's going to try to wing the leader with her bow.
All right, so you spin around while you're looking at everyone just running towards you now. They're like leaping into with their clubs back like this, and you're going to instead turn and shoot the leader. Go for it.
Damn, I wish I hadn't burned that trick shots. Oh wait,
And I think,
can I add keen senses?
yes,
Not sure how to now that I'm in though.
you just click out on your sheet. Just go to your sheet and click on it. Oh, you canceled it. Okay. Do, 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 do. And okay. I don't see any of the scene tags being difficult for you, so we'll just approve all. Go ahead. All right, so an 8, that's a success with consequences. So you can choose to do 2 harm. You have 2 power, so you can do 2 harm to the leader, but you will then get bludgeoned 2 as well.
Okay. Let's see. I guess maybe could I say staggered too?
Yeah, you want to stagger the boss? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Sure. Yep. Bludgeoned 2. Okay, and then these guys we're going to get the boss out here. Let's put him out here. There we go. So we're going to give him a status of, what did you say again?
Staggered too?
Staggered. Yep, I can work with that. All right. So staggered to. Oh, should we just do this for fun? Look, we're now in tactical mode.
Heck yeah. Let's get tactical.
I don't know. There's no real tactics here. These guys have you surrounded. It's just one dude. All right. It's a group of dudes. That's one dude. Does that make sense? They have a scale, so their stuff they do will scale up, and they'll scale down your incoming harm, etc. All right. So we've got staggered 2 on the leader. He looks at you, and he looks at his men that are closing in and swinging their weapons at you. Jared, you've got one guy in particular coming in low. What do? He's going to whack you really good in the knee. Not your
I'm
good
gonna
knee.
disarm him, and with such
Okay.
force that it actually spins him around and makes him fall down. So I'm gonna try to
Okay.
disarm him and see if he could get prone out of that.
All right. Cool.
All right. So. All right. Okay. Got it.
Jared, don't forget you have a shining sword
Yep.
and I am going to, let's see. You're using battered shields, so I'm going to go ahead and use nightmares as well. Now this is getting to be a real fight. So these things are bothering you. Become a knight. All right. Uh, approve. Oh, I forgot haunted one. That's okay. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. And. All right.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's a power of 4. You can apply some statuses if you want. You have 4 power to spend. How do you want to spend it? On disarming? Disarm and
Um.
prone?
I want to. I want to hit him so hard he goes flying back into the others.
Okay. So your initial move was to disarm. Cool. And you want now to, you wanted to disarm him and knock him prone, right? Hit him
Yep.
so hard, you knocked him prone. In this
Yeah, but
case,
I've changed my mind. I'm just gonna bash him with the shield so hard he's gonna go flying into his comrades with such force that they will know who they're dealing with.
okay. All right. So your sword flashes out around, big arc, comes down, and literally slices right through his cudgel. Um, and you're both a little surprised about how cleanly that did that. So you seized upon the moment, and you give him a big shield bash or a big kick or something like that, and he goes flying back into someone else. All right, so you can give the Hallow Maw a status of power for what? What are we going to give him?
Uh, Bruised.
Okay, and what level of status is that?
You mean as far as?
Yeah, I mean, like, so bruised would be like a minor thing, right?
Oh, okay.
Broken starts to approach 4,
Yeah,
right?
let's give him a broken arm. The arm that had the cudgel got broken.
We'll
It's
just
broken.
call it broken bones, and you've affected a couple of people. So with tier 4, we're going to drop that down though because of the scale, and we're going to give them broken bones 2. All right. So the others seem immediately impressed to the point where they already don't want to um, attack again. When suddenly a tree trunk flies through the air above you, over the heads of these guys, and hits another tree and literally cracks it and bends it over, hitting the ground with a heavy thud.
I turn
These
sideways so as not to give my back to them, but I do want to see where that came from.
came from the dark out there somewhere, and these guys look at each other and they go, "What?" And the guy on top of the stump, he says, he does a quick count. It looks like he looks at all the guys that are down there with you, and he said, "Who did that?" And they scatter. The Hallow Maw runs.
I put myself between Maya and whatever threw that. Um, Shield up, sword in ready position. Maya, get ready to run.
He says, "See the power of the Old Glade upon you." And then he raises his arm up and he throws something down onto the stump, and there's a bright flash and there's smoke. And as the smoke clears, he's gone.
Are these more performers?
What the what? Um, there are a few moments when I'm genuinely this confused, but Maya, could those that we were facing not be the ones who wrote these papers? I mean, I don't know who threw that tree. That trunk. How heavy was it, from my guesstimate?
It's a good 10-foot long piece of trunk that just got thrown. So it's several hundred pounds probably.
That's what I tell Maya. I'm not sure, Maya, what is happening here, but keep on your toes and let's continue to get this piece where it goes.
All right. Hmm. I'll try to get back on the trail. And do I still have the connection, the sense linking the stone?
Yeah, that's still going. Sure, you're still guided.
Okay. So Maya's going to try to do that, sort of keeping a wary eye in the direction of the thrown tree trunk, because that seemed a bit more dangerous than haunting whispers and all of that.
Okay. So the forest goes silent again. And whoever these perpetrators were of this farce have vanished. Are you following the guidance that you're feeling through your mark, or are you trying to track anyone in particular, or what?
Um, Sticking with the mark, the guidance from the mark via the
Okay.
stone.
Okay. All right. So you continue further, and it isn't that long before you begin to notice some stones in the forest that have been pushed by growing roots or whatever. They're up at odd angles now, but they are shaped stones. So these are not naturally formed stones. And they're kind of speckled here and there, sometimes a couple together. Of course, they are made clearly without any mortar between them. They fit perfectly together. And so you notice these things as you're going. Jared, you notice as well that this looks like that these are remnants perhaps of um, some long ago period. They kind of remind you of some of the old things that you've seen spotted along this landscape, like maybe this was um, some place once where the thaumaturgic empire had built something
Right.
and it
So
no
those
longer
ruins
stands
that
here.
kind of litter the landscape, I would be seeing them on
Yeah,
occasion.
this would be reminding you of that kind of thing, like that old watchtower that had the poisoned worm in it, and some other things. It was like a big, maybe a statue of some kind broken. You just see a fragment of it that has part of a face clearly carved in some old stone, right? So you find these old fragments of civilization, etc., as you continue to wind your way through um, the Old Glade. It isn't long before you reach. Oh, I thought I loaded that as a scene. So I'm going to work on that while we continue to discuss. I thought I loaded the next scene, and I do not see it loaded. So hold on while I find that. Wait while I whip this out.
That's okay. I was actually going to say I needed a minute or two, and I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. There we go. Oh, indeed. Let's take just a couple minutes while I load this up. Hmm. There it is. Okay. All right. Maya, you good? Jared, are you back?
I am good.
Okay, we'll wait for Jared. Maya, you come to a place with Jared right there with you that kind of looks initially like a large crevasse that you're not sure how you are going to cross because it's quite the distance. Certainly can't jump it. Um, but as you get a little bit closer, you recognize that this is not a like a normal crevasse. Instead, what you see is that this looks like um, a combination of manufactured ground and um, natural ground, right? So maybe overgrown, etc. But you discover that this looks like it is a sunken part of the forest floor, and there is, much like the Sun Watchtower, this that you've not seen, but I'm sure Jared has told you about it. This is like sunken into the ground, and so there's roots and vines and such things growing down from below and from above down to below a sunken area. As you look around, you kind of survey it real quick, and in the center, down below, probably 40 feet down, is a pillar, a monolith, and it has etchwork all along it.
Oh, heck yeah. Am I being led right to it?
Yeah, you feel like, this is it.
All right, I'm going to bring the stone right to it.
Back.
We found a monolith.
Good job. I cover her back to make sure that, nothing's coming up behind us. So I'm kind of like just watching from side to side, shields up, and swords at the ready.
Maya's going to see if there's a very obvious place where that stone can fit back in. If it's a broken part, a part broken off.
Pretty far away. Your stone fragment is not. Um, it's not very big, but yeah, it looks like there are pieces. Like it's not smooth or anything.
Okay.
So you probably could find a place where it should go. If it does indeed go here, just need to get down there.
Okay. Oh, it's not. It's like I gotta climb down, something
Yep.
like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's down there. It's a sunken area in the
Mm.
forest. There is some water down there too that is gathered there, perhaps rainfall or maybe some other water source.
Do we see the etchings on other stones? Those ruins that were on this one, do we see them on other stones?
You like if you just look around maybe to some of the chunks of stone that you've walked by.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a beauty. I'm next to Maya like white on rice. If anything's gonna hit her, it'll hit me first.
Okay. So you could probably work your way down some roots and vines, kind of climb your way down. I don't think you need any fancy equipment. It'll just take you a little while to do it carefully so you don't fall, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask if we could use some of the roots that have been choking our path to clamber down.
Sure.
Carefully.
Because they're growing down the sides of this sunken area as well as, there are some places that are lower than others you can start with and climb down the vines. It's pretty easy to climb down them as long as you're not careless, right?
I think we're being pretty careful by this point.
Yep. So you guys going to find your way down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Then let's say that you end up somewhere down here at the bottom, maybe near where your tokens are. You do see some submerged stairs that do go to the center where the monolith is located. Otherwise, your other paths are there, or maybe trying to jump across, or just wade through whatever this water is. Hard to tell how deep it is because it's murky. No trees have grown over this area to create a canopy, so there is light that shines down in this area, appropriately illuminating the room with some warm light.
Okay, if I take the tip of my sword and stir that water, does it behave and look like water? If I lift up my sword, does it just drop
It,
off like water?
yeah,
Drip off like water?
yeah.
Okay.
It's not like acid.
How does it smell? Like moldy water,
You know,
stale water?
yeah, yeah, it does. Not gonna lie.
Do
Probably
we
wouldn't drink
find
it.
evidence of footprints from where we believe um, Corbin may have made his way there and then back out the way we just came in?
You're welcome to. Why don't you make a roll to decide if you can discover anything that might indicate Corbin was here?
I'm gonna do it, and I would suggest Maya do it. She's gonna be better. I'm just gonna do a quick roll. This isn't my gig.
Yeah, I'll look around for any human looking tracks. Will this be tracked or quick?
That's my quick roll.
Okay. Um,
Nice.
okay. You do see, um, say, like a small field bag, like a pouch that has things like um, a fire starting kit. So clearly could have belonged to Corbin, not necessarily exactly. Um, but it looks like Maya looks at it and she, using her keen senses, she's like, ah, this smells like it has some bow oil on it. So it's, I think, the same kind that this Corbin used. I noticed it when we were searching his house for more clues before we found the stone.
Hmm,
Well, I am
definitely
going
looks
to
like
make my
Corbin's.
way across that stone bridge, stone
Okay.
steps, I guess.
All right. Maya, are you going to go too?
Absolutely.
All right. So you both carefully make your way across some of that sunken walkway and stair, and you approach the monolith.
How tall was Corbin?
Oh, about 5'10", somewhere in there. Pretty normal height.
So I look at Maya and I say Corbin was about 5'10", so if he would have gotten this piece, it probably would have been from around that height, if not lower. I don't really see him wanting to try to climb to get a piece. Maybe.
All right, let's I guess we can start to check for a spot where the fragment clearly fits, and Maya will just start sort of walking in a circle around. Looking, she's 5'9", so she's pretty close to that level.
Okay. You begin, it's like completing a puzzle. You're trying to find where this um, fits and how to, like, so you're turning your thing around. It looks almost like a corner piece or an edge piece. So you're looking for that. Um, and as you poke around a little bit more, you also feel a little bit of your guided approach toward where it is, and you find the place where you think the piece fits. What do you
Okay.
do?
I'm going to take the piece, try to fit it in, and as I do that, draw on the mark to sort of like try to seal it in or complete the circuit, um, and like fit it back in and make it whole again.
Okay. Uh, so you you put it back into place, and you feel your mark release, and it kind of fits there, and then um, you sense something about the piece as it fits. You kind of fit it where it broke off, and it doesn't match exactly. It because there's other pieces that have crumbled away, other parts where it may have originally um, been, the pieces in between the gaps, right, where it got knocked
Mm.
away. And as you do that, you figure out where it's at, but it doesn't want to stay there. What would you want to do about that? You could
So it's a physical problem. Like there are more pieces missing.
that, or just crumbled, right? It's parts of where the edge doesn't. It's not like a clean break.
Right. Are there pieces scattered around? Like are those pieces nearby? Like I'm imagining like that got wrenched out and the other pieces didn't necessarily get carried off.
Uh, there are other little pieces of rubble that could be from this monolith. There's, been rain that may have come down and washed some of it away. There's dust. There's different. There is plenty of little pieces of rubble where this
Mm.
monolith has crumbled a little bit. So just then, while you're trying to figure that out, there is a creature that has been out of sight, watching, and now it makes itself known.
What do we see?
Ooh.
A large creature.
I
Um,
turn around to it and I say, "We mean you no harm. We mean to make whole that which was broken. So, I don't know if you understand me. I do not want to come to blows over trying to make something right." I look at Maya like I'm not sure it understands me.
Is there anything it like I'm just wondering like if it tilts its head or if it in any way acknowledges what Jared's been saying.
it stands there quite still and stares at you with these glowing eyes.
So, Maya, do you think there's like, I don't know, mud, dirt, whatever, anything that could make, there's water, and what do we have here? Grounded powder? I mean, could we make concrete out of this stuff? What do you think?
Hmm. Do you think the creature might be willing to help us? It doesn't seem aggressive at the moment.
I hold the piece up and we point to trying to put it there, but we show that it keeps coming off. So I'm sure the creature is staring at us, but maybe we get a reaction, maybe we don't.
Uh, it, looks at you. It takes one step forward and stops again. This hulking silhouette is hunched, twisted, cloaked in moss and bark, like feathers, stood half shrouded in the shadow. Its luminous eyes burn like twin embers beneath a moss-draped brow.
I
They,
position Maya behind me as it makes its way forward, but I stand my ground.
Jared, can I try something?
did you say you stepped toward it?
Oh, no, I say I stand my ground.
Oh,
I
okay.
did not say I step forward.
I thought you said. Okay, go ahead.
Jared, can I try something with the stone?
Yeah, you gonna give it to him? Here.
Yeah, so she's gonna walk right up to the creature.
Supplicate. Bow.
You walk
Make it
toward the
look like
creature.
Yes.
As
And
soon as you do,
okay.
as soon as you take your first steps toward it, it tilts its massive head. This owl-like movement sends chills through you. The very air around it shimmers with some kind of oily darkness.
Uh-oh.
Oily
Ah,
darkness. Do I recognize it as miasma?
it could be. Yeah.
Is it emitting a foul smell?
Um, yes. Not a like. I mean, clearly it's
Not a
hasn't had a
miasma
shower.
smell.
Hasn't had a shower, but not
Not a
quite.
miasma smell, though. I know
Yeah,
what that smells like.
not of
Firsthand.
that kind of corruption. Maybe a little bit. Um, it's hard to say over the rest of the dank smell of this area.
Do you want to put the
Um,
stone in front of it and step back, Maya? I think maybe handing it might be too dangerous.
a heartbeat later, it's gone.
Oh.
Not with a burst of speed, but with the soft inevitability of nightfall, as if it had never been there. But you know, whatever those men in the forest had been up to, whatever they were faking, this was the thing that they had been unknowingly echoing. This thing is real, and it's waiting.
I know it's the real deal. Let's
And
put
with
this.
and with
Sorry,
that,
ahead.
we can stick a pin in this with your final comments, and we'll pick this up.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, that was great. Yeah, who needs the other two?
Yeah. So there wasn't any combat, but combat flows very simply with this is going to happen to you. What do you do about it? And you do something to stop it, or you ignore it and do your own thing, and then things happen, right?
But
Yeah.
at
And
any
then
moment, combat could have erupted. We were prepared for it.
yeah, and then as soon as we resolve what happened, I set the scene again and I aim at the next person probably. And then that person gets a chance to react and decide what to do about it or ignore it and do something else. And then they can take the status or they can get the hit or whatever. And then it just goes back to making the scene and then I come back to Jared. What are you going to? So it really doesn't matter nearly as much. What there may be two or three things acting in the scene, but I'm really only going to bring up one threat at a time and ask you what you're going to do about it, right? So the combat is balanced because it's really just
Yeah,
one
this
on
is this
one,
is
one on one.
significantly different than,
Yeah,
D&D. I get
exactly.
your point.
Yep. All right. So you've encountered the true Oathkeeper. You've discovered this is the place that Corbin has been, and that maybe there was something to whatever's going on. There's still mysteries to be revealed, but what do you think of what you've learned so far?
Uh, Pretty good hunches. They paid off, and we executed. So I'm very pleased with the way it went.
Yeah, this was good. Yeah. I liked the fake out because I was like, oh, maybe everything that's been happening is a part of the show, but no.
Cool.
I was
All
waiting
right.
for the other shoe to drop, and it did. So I'm glad. And Mike kept us on the course. So Maya was spot on. We were good.
Coolio. All right. So take your character sheets. Let's talk about one place that you might want to apply some experience, um, and your reason for why. Let's start with Maya, shall we?
Okay. So I think I would want to mark experience or growth or whatever on Mark of the Witchwood because that was something that she was trying to push throughout the session. She was drawing on it as they were making their way through the forest, so she's kind of leading into that power.
For sure. Excellent. All right. Good. So you can mark attention there or experience.
And
And
I was
yes,
also wondering if um the moment where she split the bolt could count as a milestone for her longbow.
sure. Absolutely.
Nice.
Okay. So you feel like she's accomplishing her goal. Great. All right. Jared, where would you like to place some experience?
Okay. First and foremost, on the journal entries, is that an experience that I
Yeah.
would be clicking
Yep.
off? So I could just choose one for that right
Yep.
now. And I'm going to
Pick one.
choose
Yep. You chose
um,
past.
personality, and that will open up an improvement,
Okay.
right?
So you have two improvements
And
out because past looks like it's ready to go.
I'm
Maybe
not
when I
seeing.
used your nightmares. Yeah. So you should see nothing in there, but you see experience +1, right? Flip your card over.
Yeah, yep, I see it.
All
It's
right.
a
So
very
flip.
faint plus. I thought it was like a negative, but
Yeah. So you
my
can flip
eyes are
that back
fading.
over and then choose another tag. You can see the lightning bolt underneath Forged in
Ah,
War
that's where. Okay.
is available. Same for personality. So you can improve your themes, add a new tag, and go that route. Maya, did you have anything improve enough that you get to add a tag or anything?
No, I'm one away on both Hinterland Tracker and Mark of the Witchwood, but not
Okay,
there
cool.
yet.
All right. It'll happen. Now you have a supernatural being. So there you go. A legit
I'm
super.
gonna choose nothing gets to me, and so that's from the journal entries. And then I would like to improve my handling my sword, because I did use my blade to once again defend myself, and it did shine and brighten up. So I don't know, maybe it's gonna get more powerful as I use it more and more.
Wait, what? So for your past, what are you doing?
An improvement with my handling a blade.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna add. Are you adding another theme? I'm sorry, I was trying to follow along what you're doing. You add
Oh,
another tag
uh,
for it, or
I was gonna put an experience on it because there's none there.
You actually have one. You actually have a full improvement from getting 3 experience total. So you can actually
Oh,
add a tag.
yeah, yeah. I did not see that immediately. Yeah, let me.
Yeah.
let me-
So you can actually hit the lightning bolt underneath Forged in War and add a tag from your theme kit.
Okay. Memento to someone I lost. Fellow refugees move through battlefield. Tall tale heroism, ruthless, warrior's jargon. Yeah, I am going to choose that one. Find cover.
Okay.
Cool. And
There
are
you
we
go.
doing the fellowship or no?
Yeah. So now you can apply. If you feel like something is improved, you can go ahead and apply a growth to that as well.
Do you
And
agree, Mike?
it's ready
Not just my own
to
assessment.
level up with a new tag too.
The fellowship is getting stronger.
Okay. So now you got to hit the lightning bolt on that, and
I'll let Mike
this is
choose.
going to ask you
Oh, okay.
questions, and you need to answer the question.
Mike, you grab the fellowship.
Okay. Mm. I'm thinking something with the how do you help, assist, or support one another, because I do think we had a good amount of that in this session.
I honestly thought I heard you say, "How do you help a sister?"
I am so glad I was not the only one who heard that.
And then I went, "Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about."
because I say
Come on, man. Help a
or
sister out.
help a sister out.
Yep, I know. That's what I thought. That was funny. Anyway, help a sister out, man.
That's what Maya's saying. Help, assist, or support one another. I want to say something like, I wanted something like share the burden, or like something to reflect the fact that like, and I think this also we kind of saw in the Viscount, like people leaning on their respective strengths and kind of like covering each other's back. Maybe even just like watch each other's backs, something like that.
Do that for sure.
Whoop! I actually need to name it.
Help a sister out.
Help a sister out. Whoops. All right, I need to go into the fellowship thing. All right. Watch each other's backs.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, I think we'll call it quits here, so that you can go rest yourself, sir.
Thank you.
You bet. So let's say goodbye to our internet audience of, well, we had 7 concurrent viewers tonight, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, yep. Thanks, everybody. And so you have a good night. We'll see you next week while we figure out what the heck is going to happen with the Watcher and our crew.